Hello, first graders! Welcome to the writing portion of your phonics. Making sure you're sitting up nice and straight. Pull your chair all the way in underneath your table so that your belly is touching your table and the back is touching the back of your chair. You'll want to be holding onto your paper tight so it's not moving around. Our first sound is ah-o-oo. Say it with me. Ah-o-oo. Go ahead and write it on your own. Make sure that you wrote starting from 2 o'clock, around the clock, back up to 2 o'clock. It's an O. 2 o'clock, around the clock, back up to 2 o'clock. And we say ah-o-oo. Say it with me. Ah-o-oo. 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 Uh-oh. That one accidentally went down a little bit too far. No big deal. We just write it again. Ah-o-oo. So if you are not to the end of your page, go ahead and pause the video. All right, the next sound is say it with me. All right. Go ahead and write it. You should be starting at the top line, pulling straight down, up and over the top of the clock. Pull straight down, up and over the top of the clock. Look at how fat that is. I can fit one of those O's inside. Down, up and over the top of the clock. And we say If you are not to the end of the line, go ahead and push pause. If you are at the end of the line, we are starting our next sound is I. Say it with me. I. Go ahead and write it. Starting at that midpoint, pulling straight down and float the dot. Remember, today we're going to be focusing on making sure all of our dots are in a line. So I want to make sure this dot is lined up with this dot as best as you can. Pull straight down, float your dot. Pull straight down, float your dot. All of my dots are halfway in between the top line and the midpoint. Float your dot. Pull straight down, float your dot. Pull straight down, float your dot. And we say I. 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 All right, if you are not at the end of the line, go ahead and push pause. Our next sound is z. Say it with me. Z. Go ahead and write it. What letter says z? Starting at 2 o'clock, around the top of the clock, across, and around the bottom of the clock. 2 o'clock, around the top, diagonal, around the bottom. And we say z. Z. And just double check that your S really has to be squished in there. I know it's not a lot of space between that midpoint and that baseline there, but you really have to try and squeeze it in. Do really small little zigzags. Z. Z. You are not to the end of the line. Go ahead and push pause. The next sound is E. Say it with me. E. Go ahead and write it. Remember, on your E, you need to go straight across and around the clock with a point. Straight across and around the clock with a point. And we say E. 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 If you have not made it to the end of the line yet, go ahead and push pause. The next sound is J. Say it with me. J. Go ahead and write it. So this one we want to start at 2 o'clock, around the clock, back up to 2, pull down, and around the clock again, down by the next line. Start at 2, around the clock to 2, down, and around the clock again. 2, around the clock to 2, down, and around the clock again. And we say J. 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 If you are not to the end of the line yet, go ahead and pause the video. Our next sound is J. Go ahead and say it. J. Go ahead and write it. What letter says J? So starting at that midpoint, and it's just like the tail of the G, we pull down around the bottom of the clock and float that dot. So the same thing we do with the eyes, trying to make sure our dots are floating all the way across in the same spot. Starting at the midpoint, pull down around the clock, float that dot. Down, around the clock, float that dot. And remember, he's resting on the next line. So you have to go down through the baseline and make him rest on the next line. So down, around the clock, float that dot. And we say J, 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 and J. If you have not gotten to the end of the line yet, go ahead and push pause on the video. The last sound is K. Now, what letter only says K? That's what we need to be thinking about here. What's the letter that only says K? It is a K. And that was one of our new ones today. So before you write it, I would like to, I'm sorry, I didn't have this in the video. Sorry, friends. Before you write it, I would like to show you how to write the K. Starting at the top line, pulling straight down. You actually get to pick up your pencil for a K. And on a lowercase k, it has an arm and a leg. So we start at the midpoint. We're going to pull in and out. I like to say it's the arm and the leg. And notice the K is tall, but the arm and leg are short, and they're underneath that dotted line. So pull straight down, and then you pick up your pencil, and you're going to start at the dotted line and go in, out. Straight down, pick up your pencil, in, out. Double check that the arm and leg are under the dotted line here. Straight down, in, out. Straight down. Now some kids like to go like this. They like to go up and up. Nope. We don't start here and go out and out. Not like that. I can tell if you pick up your pencil and do that. You want to go straight down, start at the middle point, and go in and out in one movement. Straight down, in and out in one movement. Nice job, friends. So make sure you go all the way to the end of the line there. If you're not at the end of the line, go ahead and push pause. All right, we're going to practice some words today. So, we're going to practice the it sound. It. So when we do it, we have it. Use I, and use t. So if we have the word it, I, and t. This is the word it. Now what were to happen if we, instead of the word it, we put a K in front of it? So let's sound that out. So instead of it, we have a K. It. And we can put that together. That's like a word family. We know what that says now. So we have K. It. Kit. Let's write it. So we start with our K. K. In and out. It. Kit. Nice job. What were to happen if we took the K off and put an S instead of a K? Let's sound it. So we have our it, and we have a S. It. S. It. Sit. So let's start with our S. S, and then we have it. So instead of kit, it's sit. So we have it, kit, sit. All right. Let's do one more IT sound. What if we take the S off and we change it for an H? Let's sound it. So we have an H says, and then we have it, it, hit. Let's write it. So you start with our H, pull straight down, up and over the top of the clock. It, hit. Get your pointer finger ready, and we are going to read all of these words together. Please read them out loud. It, kit, sit, and hit. And I know that all of these words rhyme. How do I know that they're rhyming words? Because the last two letters are the same. Let's check it out. This word has it, I-T, for the last two letters. This word has it, I-T, for the last two letters. This word has it, I-T, for the last two letters. And this word has it, I-T, for the last two letters. Now, because all of these words end the same, I-T, 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 that makes them all rhyming words. So that's how I can see that they're the same. I can also hear that they're the same because they sound the same. It, kit, sit, hit. They all have the t at the end. All right, friends, that's all for today. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.